What's up, everybody? Welcome to Long Island Real Estate with me, Sal Catalano. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the May 2025 market data for both Suffolk and Nassau counties, taking a look at the entire island. And this month actually paints a pretty interesting picture. Prices are holding strong, inventory is rising, and buyer behavior is shifting, but not in the ways that you might expect. So let's dive into what's really happening and what it means for whether you're buying, selling, or just, watching the market. So let's start over in Suffolk. So Suffolk County continues to show strength, but this month reveals something deeper happening beneath the surface. The average sales price in May was $675,000, which was up 1.5% from last month. Steady, heavy growth, especially in towns like Sayville, Miller Place, West Babylon, where buyer demand remains strong. Sold to list price hit 101.84%, which is up slightly from last month. That means homes are still going for over asking, and that number is climbing, not flattening. Buyers are still willing to compete. Days on the market dropped to 28, which is down 15% from April. This is one of the most important shifts. Homes are selling faster, and in many cases right away if they're priced well. But here's what really stands out this month. Months of inventory jumped to 3.1. which is the highest level we've seen in over a year. That's a 2.6 increase from April. And it's easy to assume more inventory would mean more homes sitting longer, right? No, but instead, homes are selling faster and selling for more, despite the added inventory. So what's happening? This tells us we're not in a slowing market. We're in a rebalancing one. Inventory is rising not because demand is weakened, but because sellers are finally coming off the sidelines. Buyers are absorbing that inventory as fast as it arrives, especially in listings that are clean, updated, priced right, marketed well. The market's not cooling. It's finally breathing a little bit again. And that's a very different story than what we've seen over the last 2 years. So let's see if that carries over, and let's take a look at Nassau County. So Nassau is showing similar trends, but with even more competitive behavior in some price points. The average sales price in May was $810,000, which is up 1.3% from April. That price point continues to be the sweet spot for families and move-up buyers. Sold to list price is holding strong at 101.1%, and days on the market also dropped to 28, which is exactly like Suffolk, but the difference is how that plays out. So Nassau buyers tend to make decisions faster once the right home appears, especially in higher demand zones like Oceanside, Bethpage, or East Meadow. Months of inventory rose to 3.03, which is up nearly 5% from last month, just like Suffolk. This is the highest we've seen in months. But again, it's not softening prices or slowing activity. In fact, increased inventory seems to be giving buyers confidence, especially those who were previously priced out or frustrated by limited options. So what does that mean? Well, in the under 1 million price range, we're still seeing multiple offers and bidding wars. But above that, especially over 1.3, buyers are a little more cautious. Homes in that tier are sitting a little longer unless they're like fully turnkey. So pricing and strategy is more important, than it ever was, and it always has been. So what does this all mean? What's my takeaway on this? So this month is a perfect example of how real estate is very rarely just a linear process. On paper, rising inventory usually means softening demand. It's pretty simple, basic supply and demand, right? But this month, across both counties, we're seeing the literal exact opposite. Homes are selling faster, prices are climbing, sold to list ratios are rising, and yet inventory is also growing. So that tells me we're not in a cool down, we're in a release. Sellers are listing, but buyers are still active, still competitors, and still showing up with strong offers. So for sellers, listen, this is your market. It's been your market, it's still your market, but it's also a smarter market. This is where you can make a lot of money, and you can really cash in on that equity as long as you're not greedy. Your home needs to be priced well. It needs to be presented well. It needs to be marketed well. You have to have a good plan when you go onto the market. The ones that don't do that, they're the ones that are sitting. Buyers, there's no crash coming. There's no massive relief on the way, but with more homes on the market, you finally have a little bit more of a wiggle room, a little bit more flexibility. So the key is knowing your price point and being ready, having your lender ready to go, your attorney, knowing what inspector you're ready to use, going over with your realtor, all of that stuff beforehand. So when you do find that, you're ready to pounce. And that's how I've been able to win in this market multiple times, is just being absolutely ready to go when we find it, along with, having to have a competitive offer. So listen, if you're looking to buy or sell, or just trying to time the market right in Nassau or Suffolk, this is the time to build the plan. Let's sit down. If you want to go over this, let's sit down. We can have a buyer's consultation. I love that. Go over buyers, exactly. Tell them, what they can expect, what the whole process is going to be like, what we need to do to be ready. And then for listings, we'll go over that, show you the pricing strategy, show you how I can, get you the top dollar for your home. Other than that, don't forget, subscribe to the channel for next month's update. I do these updates all the time. I also have all sorts of local Long Island stuff. And let me know in the comments if you want to see a specific town breakdown, or if you just want me to shoot you the data over in an email or something like that. Hit me up. All my information is on the page. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.